Hey there guys! Today I would like to show you guys my 2D terrain editor for unity3D. This is still work in progress, but to me it already seems demoable, so let's give it a go. To start, come here to hierarchy, to the object, then terrain. Now, select the terrain, and we are going to get this pink rectangle. So, these two balls you see here, these are used to move the terrain node to modify its shape. This is an example. So this is still minimal. So let's click Ctrl and right click on the mouse on some other places, and we are going to get a terrain a bit more detailed and with a better shape. So this is still a pink mesh, nothing more than that. So let's try to give it some color. I already made here this material with some textures assigned to it, as you can see here on the inspector on the right side. So let's give it a go. So we select the terrain and we drag and drop the material here in the mesh renderer, and there you go. We get a bit more of detail around here. The final version shouldn't have this drag and drop thing. It should be a bit more user friendly, but for now this is what we have. Bug fixes and additions will be made in the future. So one more thing, this button here that you see, this is used to separate the nodes, the segment I mean between the nodes, and to add another node in the middle. So in case we want to give some more detail to the terrain, we can do it very easily. For the next demonstration, I'm going to talk about a bit of the slope of the terrain. Let's go back to the material here. As you can see, we have a floor texture, a slope texture, a ceiling texture. They are basically the same texture, just with different colors. But depending on the slope of the segment of the terrain, we can get some different textures here. If you guys are not lazy than me, I'm sure that you guys can make something much better looking by applying some different and better textures. So if we start to change the slope, we are going to have some different texture applied to the segment. And if we turn it around, just like this, we are going to have a ceiling texture applied here, which will give some extra detail to the terrain, and it will look way better than it looks now at some point. So the next thing that I want to show you guys is some of the options on how to of the terrain edition. So if you check here the terrain field script, we have some terrain shape options and terrain collider options. They are not the final options, and some of them still have some minor bugs, which I'll fix. But let's show a bit what we have now. So let's start with the terrain collider, since it's just one. If we start to change the value, you can see that we change this green line here. The green line is the collider generated for the terrain. Some people prefer to leave it on top of the right next to the floor, between the floor texture and the filling texture separation. Other people prefer to give it some height, some offset, just to make the terrain look like 2.5D. This button, for example, the filling, just to toggle the filling. I think it's pretty self-explanatory from looking at it. Terrain height will change the height of the terrain. The corner width will change the corners. What else? The filling low point, you can change the filling height. That will depend on you what you want to do. The slope will change when the slope changes. The slope textures change. And the max segment length, as you can see here, we are changing how many segments we can have per length. It will give some additional detail to the terrain. This code is on my GitHub. I'm not going to place on the video the link, it will be placed somewhere else. So, thank you for watching. See you guys next time.